Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Paul EJ. We're working through a series on how to reclaim your time. If you're not new, welcome back, and let's get to part 3 of this series, and that is where you start on the pyramid. Just a refresher, the previous videos are in a playlist. You could go back, it's going to be linked somewhere on the screen if you haven't seen it. And if you're catching up from here, we're looking at the priority pyramid and how you can maximize this to reclaim your time and design a future that you want. And when we look at the pyramid, a quick review, we say it starts with time. Your concept of it through this series, we're looking at it as an opportunity to be and actualize yourself. Then we look at how it goes to the love element, and love as a factor here, we're looking at it as a force of attraction that enables life itself. So that's rediscovering yourself, understanding life, who you are, the things you love, what you're made for, the places and the people you can impact, all that good stuff. And we talk about how through this process, you create value, which we trade in the marketplace, and we know that to be money. Money itself, not just as cash, but as value created. How avoiding just loving that money and using your time for that money and skipping this process could lead to evil thoughts and processes. Like you could get envious of other people, you can be impatient, have a lot of negative emotions. So we talked about avoiding the trap of thinking about just money in terms of getting just cash or just getting the end results. Fall in love with the process. And how all these things and how they interact designs what we know as the future, but also how this future is affected by what we call the urgency factor. And the urgency factor just means based off of how things are interacting and how you're thinking about the process, what are you terming to be the most urgent? That is what determines the future that you're going to get out of everything and the future you're actually actualizing, right? So we're talking about it in terms of taking your time back and being able to live through this process where you're spending your time on things that you love and you were made for. And that would enable you to create the right amount of money or the money that's designed for you, and then you can design the future you want, right? So reclaiming your time, making the right things urgent. How do we do that? And it really depends on you. It's very subjective to where you are in life, and just a few case scenarios. If you already are in a situation where you are afforded more time, if your spouse can buy you more time, if you're in school and you don't have so much doing, if you're just in a place where you don't have high pressure on bills and you bought a lot of time, you then can use that time to start the process, start rediscovering things that you need to do, you want to do. Um, and then that gets you some money. You can use that money to start refining your vision and your goals, and you start building the future you want. There's the other aspect where it could even start from the end. You may not have the time, you may not have all the cash, or you may not know what you want per se. Like everyone knows this. If you spend enough time with yourself, it reveals over time, right? But like the head knowledge may not be with you. So what happens is you can start from the future and say, oh, I have this vision. I know where I want to be. I can see so strongly that I want to design this product. I want to travel to this place. I want to be able to speak in a certain way. You hold the future so strongly that it then instructs what either what you need to be passionate about or what you're made for, or it instructs what you need to do with your time to discover these things, or it instructs what you should do with the money that you have available and how you can place that to reprioritize your strategy. There's also a case where you could have so much money. You could have money saved up, you could have access to loans. And if that is a case, you can use that to take time off work. If you have money saved up, take like 3 to 6 months, then spend that time. What you're doing in today's society, if you have money, you can afford to buy time. So that would be a case where you do that, or you take more courses with the money that you have, so that you learn more about life, and then that could deepen your understanding of what you should do and how complex you can get into different things, using money to buy knowledge and education. So if you're in a place where you have a lot of money, you can start realigning from this aspect. There's also the aspect of realigning from love itself, where you understand who you are so deeply, you understand what you're in this life to do, the circles you're supposed to make impact in. And from that understanding, you then start thinking about, okay, what can I do consistently to be able to birth these things that I know I'm supposed to do? Then you start instructing the time that you're using, giving it more priority. Um, and then, yeah, you do better with your money. And then, either way, you're now realigning to the right future. So, everything interacts, and it really depends on the advantage you have in the season that you are, that could really instruct where you start from to realign your priorities. So, what's happening through this phase, if you're following through this series and you need a personal consultation session to get yours up, just comment consultation in the comments, and then we would set up something for you to see just where exactly you are with a Calendly link and everything. So that's just basically it, an overview of how you could think about this structure, and depending on where you are, use any element to your advantage and begin the journey of realignment. Or if you're on the journey already, like deepen the journey of the realignment into designing the right future. So thank you for joining us on this series. We'll see you on the next one. We're still dropping a video every day while this series is live. And yeah, we're going to keep it going. Thank you so much for the engagement, for the likes, the shares, the views, comments. Very helpful. I would be responding to some of the comments after the series is done. And yeah, see you on the next one.